Now, I'm sure this new generation of Nebraska fans are sick and tired of hearing their fathers and their grandfathers tell them about the good old days. Oh, when Big Red was ronking and rolling. We had guys named Steinkooler, Funkhauser, even guys with the last name Crouch. But Nebraska hasn't done a lot of winning lately. But enter Matt Rule, or as we call him, the Builder, a.k.a. Danny O'Shea. And he didn't have to go to a grocery store to find his quarterback throwing toilet paper rolls inside of a grocery cart. He got him yesterday in top recruit, the top recruit that Nebraska signed since they started tracking it in 2006, in Dylan Raiola. Now, there are some family ties that Raiola has at Nebraska that obviously had a big deal with him flipping from Georgia to the Cornhuskers. But it's not just the on-the-field instance that should give Nebraska fans hope with Raiola. It's what it symbolizes. It's what it signals. Nebraska is slowly becoming cool again. And great players want to play with great players. Now, will Raiola end up being a top 5 pick, a first-round draft pick? We don't know that. But when Nebraska gets the type of players, all they need is a spark for a wildfire to start with that fan base. Even though they've struggled, we all know who Nebraska is. And a relevant Nebraska is great for college football. Now, Matt Rule didn't win huge at Baylor. He didn't win huge at Temple. But he built up enough of a rapport and a resume to get himself a job in the NFL and resurrect those programs. So why couldn't he do it at Nebraska? And he may have just started it with a big domino falling in Dylan Raiola. We'll see how he does. Another quarterback who never flipped his commitment.
I didn't.
He's committed every single
I
morning.
didn't. Or transferred.
Or transferred.
Thought about it.
Well, yeah, well, you know.
I transferred to Crain and Company.
You did, and we're happy. That NIL deal really helped you out. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback. My brother, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crain. And guys, look, people will talk about Raiola. Went to like 3 different high schools. Mm-hmm. Right? We've seen this new era of NIL with high school recruits kind of muddy the waters a little bit on at least the way we kind of went through it. But I tell you what, if you're looking at Nebraska right now, there is legitimate hope for them to be able. They're never going to dominate the way they did back 30 years ago, whatever it was. But they're a good enough program and a big enough brand, and they have enough money and resources and facilities and want to be relevant in a 12-team playoff. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a great step forward for Matt Rule to kind of break the seal and show all the other recruits out there, hey, look, Nebraska's a place that might be in the middle of nowhere, but we can get good players in here and win too. I think it's a great stepping stone.
This is huge for Nebraska, for a program that sold out every home game for the last, 35, 45 years, something like that. This is big time now. Even if the kid doesn't end up being the next Eric Crouch, it shows that Nebraska can still go get the number 1 player, the number 1 quarterback in the country, especially when there are family ties. It says, hey, this brand is strong enough that we can go get a guy like this. Now, something didn't seem right to me when all the news was breaking on the same day that they were going to get this kid to flip and get Kyle McCord. It never seemed right with me. We know now Kyle McCord is going to go to Syracuse. This actually doesn't fall through, which I think is big for Nebraska not to lose out on both of those guys. It is a crazy time. I mean, this kid was from Nebraska. It came down to Nebraska and Georgia. We were following it. He ends up going to committing to Georgia. Nobody thought it was crazy, right? They were the 2-time defending champions at that point. He ends up going to Buford, Georgia, to play his senior year of high school. That's where all of this has gotten crazy recently. Goes to Buford, Georgia, and says, "Hey, I'm home." Well, he wasn't home. Nebraska's his home. That's where his father was an All-American. That's where his uncle, you were saying, is the offensive line coach over there right now in Nebraska. So now he actually does return home. I think is huge for Nebraska. Even if he doesn't end up being the best player they've ever had, he's going to get other recruits in there, and it's a huge building block for Matt Rule.
And without a doubt, and Blaine, I don't think anybody's crying for Georgia with the talent they have, and I wonder how much Carson Beck announcing that he was coming back, which is massive for Georgia, absolutely massive, if that had anything to do with Raiola flipping his commitment. But when you look at Nebraska, man, I mean, you have to feel good about where you're at right now if you're a Husker fan. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, you made a splash. Now let's see if Matt Rule can run with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a huge get with Dylan Raiola. The kid's going to be a stud. But you look at the overall recruiting class. I mean, you're sitting top 25 in the nation. He's got a couple four-star offensive linemen. Matt Rule is starting to build this thing. One thing about Matt Rule is he hasn't stayed at a place long enough to you really see it flourish.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
a good point.
He's put together a couple seasons, but he's always got that next opportunity, that better gig. But I feel like Nebraska is home for him. And this Dylan Raiola kid is kind of interesting. Committed to Ohio State, right? Flipped it, committed to Georgia. And the next thing you know, he's sitting at Nebraska. This is a huge get for them because I agree with what you said, David. It shows that you can go get that guy. But now you have to keep that guy. And I think it's going to be tough. Even if Dylan comes in and starts, which, I think he is. I mean, right now he'll be competing for sure with the quarterbacks that they have there. But can you keep that star in Nebraska to build off that? And I think having family ties will be a huge piece to keeping him.
Yeah, we want to know what you think in the comments. Make sure you hit that sub button as well. Hit that like button. And also let us know, do you think Dylan Raiola is going to take Nebraska to the next level? But something that's not next level.
Yeah, is there any concern from you guys
Yes,
over
this
the Christmas?
concern.
I don't like this. This worries me.
You called this out to me.
Yeah, so when Dylan Raiola flipped his commitment, I'm going to read this quickly. It's in like a poem form or a Christmas carol form. I don't like this. It's not even that
We
good.
should have some Christmas music to put behind this one.
Yeah, we should. Actually, you know what? Play the motivational music. Let's play the
Have
motivational
something
music.
behind this. Don't try to make this sound cool.
Oh, we can't.
We can't do both at the same time.
We can't do
sorry.
both at the same time. That's all right.
wow.
So
That's
here we
crazy.
go. Blaine, give me the South Park. Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da,
In the realm of college dreams, where purpose takes flight,
da, da.
enter Dylan Raiola, crafting his narrative in the night.
Ooh.
Once lured by Georgia, where powerhouse glory gleamed,
Da, da, da.
yet Nebraska's purpose in his heart brightly beamed.
Brightly beamed.
Bars. In the scarlet and cream, where legacies entwine, Dylan, like Rogers, Rozier, and Crouch, a hero in the line. No longer a cog in some powerhouse machine, but a quarterback with an even grander ambition unseen.
Ooh.
So fellow fans await, with hope in the all, for Dylan to choose, his purpose to declare. In a weekend's decision, destiny calls to fulfill his purpose, where a new dynasty enthralls.
Oh.
Boring!
First of all, who's the ghostwriter?
Yeah,
First of all,
right. Fire
You
him.
didn't write
You know
that.
what it sounds like? It sounds like Baby Cone's victory speeches.
Well, I think we're being disrespectful to Baby Cones.
Fair enough.
Ace reminds me of that, baby. What's those commercials?
Baby Geniuses?
That does the tax. Like
Oh,
rents
yeah,
people
yeah,
taxes
yeah, yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Dude,
in the
I forgot
helicopter.
about that.
In the helicopter, he's playing
Yeah.
golf and everything like that. Yeah.
So is there any concern over this?
It just, this doesn't make me feel great about it, but then I turn on the tape and I'm like, all right, we can get past it. Maybe this was just a bad idea. Maybe your mom had a bad idea, right? But like somebody came up and thought this was going to be a really cool idea. It's just,
Where are your
hey,
friends at?
Yeah, where are your buddies at that read it and they're like, nah, man, this ain't it.
If I had a buddy who's a 5-star quarterback, he's
Yeah.
like, hey, man, I'm going to sign, but we're going to do it with the Christmas Carol. I was like, I will punch you in the face.
Yeah, no.
If
like,
you do that, because and not only are you embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing.
I'm involved now.
I do
Yeah,
have
that's
Nebraska's.
exactly right.
I do have Nebraska's schedule real quick. If you want
Go ahead.
2024. You got UTEP week 1. You got Colorado week 2. That game is at home.
Oh, that's
At
a home.
home. Yep.
That'll be an
Yep,
interesting
yeah.
football game. You have Northern Iowa at home, Illinois at home. You go to Purdue,
Okay.
Rutgers at home. You got a bye week. Then you go to Indiana. You go to the Buckeyes, UCLA at home, at USC, Wisconsin at home, and at Iowa.
Okay, so
To
no
finish the
Michigan and no Oregon.
No Michigan, no
That's
Oregon.
really not that bad.
It's not compared to the others. It's not as bad. Not great, but it's not as bad. Well, I mean, look, he doesn't need to go win 10 next year at Nebraska. You go win 8. Slip up and win 9. Keep that momentum going. Matt Rule's not going to do it all in one fell swoop. This is going to take time. You want to build it the right way. If I'm going to build a house, I'm going to start with a good foundation. I'm not just going to go put a roof on with nothing there. You got to start with a good foundation. That's why I think, and I'll continue to say this, that Matt Rule will have more success at Nebraska than Prime will have at Colorado. And I will continue in the long run. Maybe not in the short term, maybe not even next year, but over a 5-year span, if they're both still there, I think Matt Rule will have more success than Deion Sanders.
Wow.
I really believe that. But speaking about success, if you're tired of wasting your money on testosterone booster products that don't work, we don't blame you. All right? We know we're getting older. You lose testosterone. You got to get that T back. All right? And that's why our sponsor, Nugenix Total T, lets you try before you buy on their supply. And you get a complimentary sample when you text 231-231 and enter keyword Crain. That's CRAIN. Again, I mean, Blaine, we've talked about this. Guys, you need to go get your testosterone level tested. You're going to be shocked the older you get, how much it drops off. That's why Nugenix is such an important product. You're going to feel revived, energized. You're going to be working out like an animal, hitting home runs like Frank Thomas, throwing passes like Doug Flutie. right? Overachieving, it's a fantastic product. And it's made with Testofen, which will help you turn back the clock and re-energize your life. But don't just take my word for it, even though you super duper trust me. Try it before you buy it. And if it works, keep using it. If not, keep the sample. And like I said, get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text 231231, enter keyword Crain, that's C-R-A-I-N. Text now and get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest and most powerful fat incinerator with key ingredients to help you lose fat and get lean faster, absolutely free. So text 231231, enter keyword Crain, that's 231231, enter keyword Crain. Remember, texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purpose. Message and data rates applied. #1 doctor recommended brand by primary care physicians based on an independent survey conducted by IQVIA 2022. Let's go to calls right now.
Well, we got Brian on the line, and guess where he's from?
Oh, Nebraska.
Here we go. Can't wait.
Come on
When's
in.
Larry the Cable Guy calling in? That's
Come on
wait.
in.
Did you write A Christmas Carol too?
No, but I have it up in my bedroom already.
Oh, how much sweeter was the air this morning?
Oh,
Did you just
dude.
walk outside and
Birds
look around?
were singing.
Yeah, it's like a Disney movie, except
I'm
not
not-
weird.
I'm not gonna lie. I pitched to my wife last night. I said, "All right, which kid are we renaming?" Like,
Yes.
I love
the little
it.
one's name. Let's switch it.
I love it.
No, but some interesting stats that kind of came to light yesterday was this is Nebraska's third 5-star recruit in the modern era, obviously. Their first 5-star quarterback. And since Matt Rule's been a head coach, Nebraska has had 21 players drafted. Matt Rule has had 23, and that's with 4 years of being removed from college. And I just thought, like, all those stats together was pretty crazy, to be quite honest. And
What-
year two pulling this kind of move is insane.
You know what getting Dylan Raiola is like? It's like kind of when you're trying to lose weight and you really, you don't know if you can or not, but all of a sudden you lose that first 5 pounds and you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, this is legitimate. Like, I can legitimately do this. I feel like that's how kind of Nebraska is getting Dylan.
No, for sure. And I think you guys really hit the point that I've been trying to make the last few days, because the local media, half of them are kind of, oh, well, we don't know what he's going to do. It's not just about Dylan Raiola.
Yes.
And so I do not care how much money they had to throw at this kid, because it's the ripple effect that happens after, both that signing day this year and then what carries over into 25.
And he's got to take advantage of it. He's got to take advantage of it. This first domino, when the old saying, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Well, the iron's hot. Go do it. Keep doing it in recruiting too. Use this Dylan Raiola commitment to go grab a couple other guys, maybe a couple guys in the portal, give you a second look, right? You just went from a 5 to an 8. All right, in my opinion, at the bar. So put some earrings on.
So the other 5-star
shake it till you make
commits,
it.
the other 5-star commits y'all had was Marlon Lucky, running back, 2005 class, was a 5-star number 14 overall prospect, and Chris Septake, tight end, 2000 class.
Chris
number
Septake.
38 overall, number 1 tight end.
I think we remember how that turned out.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah, it was. Brian, thanks for calling in, man. Good luck. I coached at Nebraska. Loved the Boneyard. It was Lincoln's a really cool place. I absolutely loved it. It's gorgeous.
Portal 2 years.
Portal 2 years.
Portal 2 years.
He's such
Get
a
outta
hater,
here.
Brian.
Portal 2
He's
years,
such a
Brian.
hater. Hello, everyone on YouTube. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't already, I know a lot of you have, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell for Crain & Company so you know when we drop content. And there is new Lady Ballers merchandise at thedailywire.com/shop. Go get you a jersey, a candle, a hat, or a sign. We all know you want to.